Good afternoon, Bournemouth fans. Hope you're doing okay. To be honest, you're probably not doing okay. Like me, what a horror set of results we had yesterday. But Bournemouth entertain Leicester City at the Vitality Stadium tonight in a 7 o'clock kickoff. This preview has been brought out a little late because obviously we needed to take into account what happened yesterday and just take time to try to get over it. Now, you may have seen Morgan Scott, who has been on the full-time free-for-all, and we're going to bring him in here. Morgan, AFC Bournemouth fan. How are you doing?
Hi everyone. Yeah, so just got coming up to 12:15 on a Sunday afternoon. I'm actually people criticise the Premier League's kickoff time, but a 7 o'clock game, not right, and Bournemouth have got all day to prepare, not getting up too early. You look at Wolves getting in quite early on 11, have it eaten at 10:30. Bournemouth have got all day to kind of chill out. They don't need to make their way to Vitality to about 4:30. So hopefully that might go in our favour today. Leicester might be feeling it coming. Long journey down, maybe checking into a hotel, depending on the virus situation. I'm not sure if clubs are doing that at the moment, but.
Yeah, it's it sounds like you're going to be optimistic in this video, and that's what I like to see because sometimes hope is all we've got left. And unfortunately, yesterday Newcastle didn't do us a favour. I mean Norwich were poor. They're now relegated to the Championship. West Ham looking good at the moment, and it just shows how a couple of wins in a row can really get you out the mire. And we're looking at those matches that we had earlier in the season against Crystal Palace, Wolves, Newcastle, and what an opportunity it was. And we've made it the hardest possible way out of this, haven't we?
We have, yeah, and to be honest with you, if I was sat here after a defeat at Tottenham, I would be thinking, oh my God, this is impossible. But that Tottenham game was so full of positives, although we still couldn't score. I see a lot, I see quite a lot going into the games, today's game against Leicester, because the games have been coming thick and fast. I can't remember how Leicester have been getting on, but I did see, it wasn't long ago that they didn't win a game since the lockdown. So maybe that, I'm not 100% sure on that, but maybe that might give a bit. I know Maddison's been out injured. I'm not sure if he'll be back in, and that's a big player for Leicester City. So, Bournemouth are looking good. Obviously, we're probably without, Eddie confirmed we're without fullback Adam Smith today. But Jack Stacey, when he came on, he did his job. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can be optimistic. Obviously, it's not going to be easy. No game is easy in the Prem. I don't mean to sound like Eddie here, but hopefully we can go in and give everything we got. And what I put on my Instagram, I don't know if you saw after the Bournemouth Spurs game, if every man in that team every lad in that team wanted to be there, and they fighted for AFC Bournemouth's future, and that's what was really good to see. Definitely start Dan Gosling. I thought he was absolutely world class in that game. Shaky 3 minutes I thought I saw on Twitter, but then he was absolutely sensational. He was fighting, he was putting his foot in for every challenge. I don't know if you saw, Sam, Harry Arter scored that goal off the floor. It's times like this where I wish that Harry Arter was still, I know he's on loan at Fulham, but it's times like this where I would have the likes of Harry Arter and Mark Pugh. Mark Pugh's a free agent. Why doesn't Eddie say to him, any chance of getting a possible loan? So something's got to give, I definitely also start Danjuma today. I think he would be very, very unlucky not to start. I thought Stan's been excellent. Fair play to him. He did well at Old Trafford, but I thought in the last game, he was good defensively, but attackingly, I thought I would start Danjuma. I think we need to start strong.
Okay, well, we'll go through the team, very shortly. And like you say about Dan Gosling, I think a lot of people have been clamoring out for players on the pitch that, get it in terms of, what it's like to be down in the trenches. I mean, Dan Gosling's had a relatively successful spell at us, but he's been around at the club, long enough to understand the fabric of the club and, know Eddie and understand how the fans feel and how difficult it will be to get back up into the Premier League if we were relegated. And people have been saying that we need players like that, and I think maybe that's part of the reason why Adam Smith got the nod for those first few games, but he didn't perform really. But in the Spurs game, I thought he was excellent. It was better with that natural balance, playing with Rico on the left and playing with Smith on the right. A lot of people talk about us persevering too often with square pegs in round holes, and that's what it seems to be that we've done all season. We've played Harry Wilson in a position that he's not particularly keen on playing in. Josh King's played out of that position a number of times as well. But with Dan Gosling in there, Rico on the left-footed player, and Smith, albeit Jack Stacey, on the right, we seem to have much better balance. One thing I want to say, though, a lot of people were pinning this season on David Brooks and his return, not quite been up to those levels. And, you know, you could say that for a few of the Man United goals. I mean, I know everyone's been going on at Adam Smith that we conceded, but David Brooks equally didn't get back. And in that last game, he also wasn't particularly effective. So what would you be saying for the, you know, the winger situation? Because Junior Stanislas, I think, has been performing pretty well.
So, to be honest with you, I'm a massive lover of David Brooks. Now, I have his shirt on the his name and number on the back of this shirt that I'm wearing today. And David Brooks, since he's come to AFC Bournemouth, has been my favourite player by far. However, in terms of the team, you got to remember he's still very young, so he hasn't ever experienced an injury like this. He's had multiple operations on it. He's had a very serious injury. I think if I was Eddie today, you've seen him come off a couple of times. I think he came off at United after 60 or so minutes, and then he came off against Spurs about the same kind of rough time, I think. I think if I was Eddie Howe today, I think I would start maybe Danjuma and Stanislas in the wide positions, and I would bring Brooks on about even at half, give him the second half, because I reckon he'll shine in the second half. Don't start him and knacker him out where he has to cramp up and go off injured. Leave him on the bench. I doubt he will, but I would leave him on the bench, and I'll say to him, look, I'll give you half an hour, 40 minutes at the end where you can come on and try and make an impact on the game. And that's what I would do, because I think we talk about getting results. And if we played against, the Spurs game was against Leicester, we would have got a point, or definitely got something from that game. Well, I know we got a point, but we definitely would have won that game. So I reckon if Eddie sorts out the formation, I know we're going to touch on that, so I won't dwell on it. But I reckon if David Brooks starts on the bench today, and Eddie brings him on at the correct time, I reckon he'll have a more better influence on the game than starting him, knackering him out, and then him going off injured, and then going from kind of just the same as every other game. And to be fair to the lad, you know, you can't just rely on him. He's only 20. I think he's just turned 23, maybe 22, 23 in the last few days. You can't rely on a 23-year-old just to get on and do it. It's you've got 11 people on the pitch, and you just kind of everyone's kind of got to want it. Although he is, in my opinion, one of our best players, you can't rely on someone like that. You just got to have the experience, like someone from Callum Wilson, Nathan Ake, Dan Gosling, and they need to guide him back to where he wants to be. And, you know, Bournemouth have been hit with so many injuries this season. So, Eddie just needs to start him on the bench, give him 16, bring him on about 60 minutes, and hopefully he might get a goal.
Well, Leicester, since Project Restart, they didn't particularly do pretty well, but they picked up a 3-0 win at home to Crystal Palace, and then it was a draw. They managed to draw at the Emirates, Vardy equalising after Arsenal went 1-0 up, and Arsenal were down to 10 men in that. And so they're starting to pick up a bit of momentum, and given the league table at the moment, they really do need to solidify that spot in fourth. So there they are in fourth. Man United are beneath them. The point situation, they're on 59. Man City on 58. So look at Man United on 58. Man United, their form has been ridiculous, and Leicester's has been a little bit shady, to say the least. But we're getting loads of Man United fans who are coming onto Twitter and Instagram and stuff saying, please win for us. So we've got United behind us today, but I mean our position, Morgan, I mean, it's perilous to say the least. I mean, look at that form. It's dreadful. Only Norwich is worse. Maybe Aston Villa, you could say, of course. But Watford are now 6 points ahead of us, as are West Ham. We, of course, have got that, game in hand. It is a must-win match, isn't it? And, I think whilst we're not mathematically confirmed as being relegated, if we do lose tonight, it's as good as nailed on, isn't it?
So I said on the show after the Spurs game that Bournemouth will stay in the Prem. We need to win tonight. It's as simple as that. I can actually see something happening at the Etihad, if I'm honest.
No way.
Because Bournemouth because
Really?
Bournemouth win when they don't. Bournemouth win at games when they're not expected to win. So I can quite easily see. I reckon we will win tonight.
Yeah, I think we will, based on if our form, if our form has been getting better, our attacking impetus has been slowly getting better, and there does seem to be confidence that is now coursing through the veins of the players. My only concern is that Leicester's also is too, and is
with
it
that though,
too late?
With that though, Sam, I think there's quite a bit of pressure on Leicester tonight. The fact that they're playing before Manchester United, Man U entertain Southampton at Old Trafford tomorrow night live on Sky Sports at 8:00. So I think that Leicester have got the pressure. It's very tight around the European places. Now I watched Sheffield United absolutely destroy Chelsea like most people did yesterday, and there's quite a lot of pressure on them top teams. Even the Liverpool game yesterday, that I know they got a draw to Burnley, but they're trying to. That was the first time in 18 months they lost at Anfield, which is quite. Not many teams can do that. So teams have still got quite a lot to play for. There's still records to be broken. You've got European places and at the bottom of the table. And as some of the commentary have said on matches throughout the week and, well, every single day, I can't remember a day off without watching any games. But fans should be. It's a shame that fans can't be. Obviously, everyone's safety is important. But if we were at Dean Court today rocking it, I reckon we would give the players so much more going. Eddie can do everything he can, but after a hard week of training, I just wanted to touch on what I saw on AFC TV about a day or 48 hours or so ago. They were doing a little recovery session after the Spurs game, and all it was is doing a few keepy uppy, and you got to keepy uppy and header it into the bin, and that looked kind of good fun. And although yes, you could argue that's not beneficial, it's very, very easy for the players to lose concentration. And players are doing this as their job. Yes, they're expected to deliver. However, they are human beings, and at the same time, to go and do that session and have a bit of fun, that might give them that's a positive and a high, to go on and do better. Do you know what I mean? And
a bit of team spirit, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. And I thought seeing that compared to, reading Twitter and them getting them, I'm not, everyone's on social media these days and having a look. I thought that to them, yes, it probably that won't keep us in the Premier League. However, it's gonna make them more motivated, and it's better than Eddie having a go at them every single day. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was important, and that was nice to see. But going back to originally, I reckon there's a lot of pressure on Leicester tonight. Because games are coming thick and fast, I haven't had time to have a look at Leicester's form. But I reckon Leicester, if Maddison isn't playing, I reckon that's a huge loss for them tonight. And I'm hoping that I reckon Bournemouth are going to go there and if they play like we did against Spurs, we're definitely going to get a win tonight, 100%. As long as VAR doesn't muck us up.
Well, yeah, hopefully it doesn't. Well, I mean, all Bournemouth fans want us to win. I mean, apart from maybe Boscombe Albion on Twitter, who is a person that seems to love it when we lose. In fact, he never tweets when we win, and always is negative and jumps on other people's backs, saying get over yourselves, we were down anyway, denial gets you anywhere. It's almost like all his frustrations are on the team, on the fans rather than the team. And we've invited him on so many times onto the podcast, but maybe how flimsy his opinions are represented by the fact that he doesn't ever want to come on and show his face, because he seems to be like one of those internet trolls, and he won't answer my direct messages either, because we would love it. So I fear for his daughters, really. But anyway, that's by the by. Everyone wants us to win tonight. Let's just go on.
Sorry, just in terms of I just got it up in front of me. In terms of the official, do you reckon that has a part to play in tonight's game? Obviously, so the referee tonight is Stuart Atwell, assisted by Simon Lon and Neil Davies, with the head of VAR this evening is Craig Paulson, with VAR assistant Stephen Child. Do you reckon that has got any? Obviously, it might sound a stupid question, but Stuart Atwell refereed the first game against Palace. Now, I don't think that was a free kick. So, you look at that. Could that be a factor to play in tonight's game? Because, you need a constant rep.
Maybe. I think we've just got to look at our own game first, and I think for too long we've been worrying about external factors. We've just got to do the basics right if we can. What we're going to do though is, before we go on to the team, we're going to just for the sake of it. I mean, we're going to look at the remaining games. I haven't included Aston Villa in this graphic because I think it's important to focus on the teams above us rather than the teams below us. So these are the remaining games. West Ham play Watford. That'll be an interesting match. So this is like match week 36, what we're saying. Match week 37, we play Southampton. Watford have got Man City. Man United are at home to West Ham. So no easy games there. And on the last weekend, Arsenal have got Watford, which is a bit of a killer fixture. We're at Everton. West Ham are playing Aston Villa. Now, what we're going to do is put all these into a fixture calculator, Morgan, and we're basically going to try to work out what we think could possibly happen.
Wow.
You know what? We won't worry about the other teams. We'll just worry about like ourselves and Aston Villa. Teams around us. Okay, so let's say. I mean, what's your prediction for tonight?
I got asked this about 40 minutes before we came on it, and I'm going to go 3-0 AFC Bournemouth.
3-0, mate. What? Man, I've got to be really okay. I'm gonna go for a 2-0, just to add a bit of balance, because I'll add a 2-0, and basically what that does will show us where we would be at then after tonight. So that would put us obviously in the same position, but we'd be on 31 points. Now, of course, we play Man City. Let's just say, I mean, I know you're feeling as though we could get something with there, but their form has been ridiculous. Now, in the circumstance where, goal difference, say if we did win 2-0 tonight, for example, Watford are on -21, we're on -25. Do we go out and try to win the game? Therefore, when we do try to win games, we often leave gaps and we leave ourselves exposed. And do we want to be losing, say, 4-1, or do we want to go up there, park the bus, and maybe like a 1-0 loss? Because bear in mind that Watford have still got to play Man City as well. What if they lose 4-0? What if they lose 4-0 and we lose 1-0? That's more gaps closed, and that point that they have in terms of goal difference. I know this is picture at the moment, and we've got ourselves to blame for shooting us in the foot on these 34 matches that we've already played. But what would you do if you were ready if we win tonight?
It's a very, very tricky question. But you got to be honest with yourself. Now, being realistic, I would love nothing more to go to the Etihad and win. However, the fact that I turned the Brighton game off at half-time last night against Man City, because I thought this is just boring now. City have obviously won. City, a very, very good team. I saw them play Liverpool, and Liverpool are obviously the champions of the Prem, and they gave them they made Liverpool look horrendous that evening, and Liverpool had nothing. So, being realistic, to go to the Etihad and take a 1-0, I would accept that. I went to the Etihad 2, maybe 3 seasons ago. It was cold December. It was the night before Christmas Eve, the 23rd of December. And it was absolutely freezing, and we suffered a 4-0 loss. And I don't think City security like Bournemouth fan, because me and my mate were just going to get a programme, and we got asked why we weren't in our little penned-in area in the Bournemouth before we got to go through security. So I don't think Man City like us back it up in the Etihad. However, to answer your question, I would absolutely go to the Etihad and take a 1-0, because you look at goal difference could be what we rely on to keep us up, and I would rather go there and pay part of the bus and accept maybe 1, maybe 2 at the very most, and then stay up on goal difference and go there and get absolutely distraught and lose 5 or 6-0.
Yeah, now these are obviously, Bournemouth's the way Bournemouth have been playing dictates that this is probably going to be a big ask if we do manage to, 1-0. And for the, I've put Everton to win, to beat Aston Villa 1-0, and West Ham, Watford, everyone is saying that they're almost going to play out for a draw. So let's just pretend that those results get put in, and then we'll calculate the league table at this stage. So that means after 36, we're in a position whereby we're 4 points down with 2 games to go. But bearing in mind that on match week 37, we have got Southampton. Let's just say we managed to get a cheeky 1-0 whatever. I mean, it probably won't
VAR
happen like
penalty,
that.
90th minute.
Yeah, yeah, that would be all right, wouldn't it? And then, Watford play Man City. Let's just say that Man City like smash them 3-0 again. These
Yeah,
are just
100%. And I don't think that's being. I think I don't think that's a bad prediction, to be honest with you, Sam. Man City are a class team. I know Liverpool won the league this season, but Man City, in my opinion, have got the best team in the Prem by far. You look at their winners, for example. You take off Riyad Mahrez and Raheem Sterling. You can bring on Bernardo Silva, Foden. I think Sane's gone now, but you can change their team around. I had a conversation with a friend last night. They're making the 5 substitutions permanent next season, and Man City can actually just change. Man City are 1-0 down. They could come back and win come back and win the game because they got that quality on the bench to come back and change their team and nick a point against.
So, I mean, what happens then with the league table? If they, I mean, I've just put Man United will beat West Ham 2-0. Arsenal will probably beat Villa. And yeah, I mean, let's just see what that would do then after match week 37. Of course, these are all 35s and 36s. We're just worrying about the bottom lot. I think I've missed out a Villa prediction here somewhere. So let me just see. I think, let me...
While you're doing that, I think the Villa game is very important today. I don't want to rely on other teams, but I think Palace need to do us a favour today. If Villa lose, I think that's a really... Bournemouth... I don't know what Bournemouth would be doing. I can't predict what they're doing. But I reckon Bournemouth will... If Bournemouth see Villa slip up, Bournemouth's mind might think, right, okay, they made a mistake. We cannot now make a mistake. That gives us a... And I think it's all about highs and lows at this point. All right, they're playing at 2:15, and I imagine quite a lot of the first team boys will be watching that game. They're not much to kind of do with the climate of the world right now. So, to be, I reckon if I was a professional Bournemouth player, I would be sat at home watching that game 100%. You might not get to watch it all due to the fact that you halfway through at halftime you normally see teams surviving and stuff, but I would definitely be watching what I can, and then coming into the changing rooms I'm sure it would be on somewhere. So I think
I mean, let's just pretend that our, like Villa raise themselves, today and get a result. We'll move on to match week 37 where we have predicted their result.
God, you're skipping.
And what we're going to do then is have a look at
I will say that you quickly.
What that would do is put Bournemouth at the, if the results go the way we said, look, there would be 1 in the goal difference there, and there would be Watford would be that would mean we'd have to beat Everton and hope that Watford would fail to beat Arsenal on their last match of the season. These are all very big asks and ifs and buts, but we just want to show that it is possible. But to make it possible, we've got to win the game of football that's in front of us, and it's a must-win game, isn't it?
So I look at Everton as a game, and I've been to Goodison just over a year ago, I believe. I think it was like last January. I can't really remember exactly, but I think it was just over a year or so. Okay, but I thought it was a very, very. I thought Bournemouth did well. To be fair, I can't remember the score. I think it was only 1-0. It was a very long journey home to accept that. It was a very cold day. But I think Everton at Goodison, that's their home ground. I thought, Bournemouth played all right, but Everton are a good team. They're a decent, all right team. But then, having said that, you can never predict AFC. You can never write off AFC Bournemouth. I remember one Boxing Day. I think it was a 3-3 game against Everton back at Vitality. Unfortunately, I didn't get a ticket. I don't think I could get a ticket to that game. I think I left it too late. My bad. But anyway, I remember watching a game. I think it was like, I don't know, United or someone they were showing on TV, and I went onto the link, and after the game, Bournemouth had 5 additional minutes, and I was like, oh my god! And then Bournemouth scored, and it was 3-0 against Everton, and I'm thinking we were like 3-0 down at one point, and then we came back and equalised. So you can't write Bournemouth off, and I think that's what positive energy I want to take into today's game. When Bournemouth scored that goal, yes, I know VAR got rid of it, and correctly so, because you can't give the one against Lucas Moura and not give Kins because it was clearly handball. However, Bournemouth do need to score tonight. Bournemouth need to score, and Bournemouth do need to start winning. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to take a point tonight, because that
No.
being
We have
realistic.
to. Yeah, we have to win, and we've just run some scenarios through that are they're not unlikely, but it revolves around Bournemouth beating Leicester, so we can only do what's in front of us. And if we get anything at Man City, it will be great. Now we'll just skip on to the team news before we end, Morgan. And a lot of people have been saying this is the team that they would like to see. But
who's that in goal? Is that Rambo I assume?
That is Rambo, and then a back four of Rico, Kelly,
there we go with that,
and Stacey. Yeah, across the middle of the park, Stanislas, Gosling, Lerma, and Harry Wilson. That's what a lot of people are saying. King and Wilson up front, but you're saying that you'd rather have Dan Juma there. Is that right?
100%. Yeah, I would start Dan Juma if I'm being honest. I would definitely start him ahead of Harry Wilson. I'm not being disrespectful towards Harry Wilson, but I don't think he will help out Jack Stacey. I don't think defensively he's good enough. You saw him, he came on as a sub. He gave away a professional foul. That was the correct thing in my opinion. But, you don't want to get 20 minutes into a game and have him on a booking, because that doesn't help anyone. So,
do you think that Dan Juma, most times I've seen him, he's been on the left side. So would that mean Stanislas switching, or can he play down that right side as well?
That's an interesting one. We'll have to wait and see on that one. The team news will be in at 6 o'clock. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens. I would start Dan Juma. I would put Dan Juma on the left, because I think he's got a good left foot, and then I would swap. Even maybe put. You can muck around with it if you wanted to. You could put Stanislas maybe as a cam.
Yeah. And
then just play a 3 across. Like, I don't know how it would work, but say you got Lerma and Gotho sitting, and then you got Stanislas just behind Will and then Kin, and then you got Dan Juma running up the other side, kind of thing.
There's lots that can be done. I just think that I don't think I can see him putting Stanislas. I mean, I think if he's going to use Dan Juma, he might put him on the right side, because Stanislas and Rico have been doing so well together on the left.
It muffled a bit. One thing I don't want Eddie to do is I don't want him to muck around with it too much. I think I thought definitely if he doesn't start Kelly tonight, I think he's making a huge mistake. I will absolutely go down to Vitality and go and say something to him if I can get in that. But to be honest with you, if it isn't working after 45 minutes tonight, he needs to make. You got 5 substitutions, make 3 of them at half time. Yeah. If it's not working, so if I hate to say it, Jefferson Lerma, who hasn't really been performing that well, comes off, isn't putting 110% and take him off at halftime. You've got to be as black and white as that. Jose Mourinho at halftime did that, and that's a good manager. He's saying, you're not performing, off you go. If you put your effort in training, you come back. But what Eddie needs to do today is he needs 110% for that 95, 96 minutes that we will be playing football today at Vitality. And if I was Eddie, this is the final message I would give them. Boys, we're not gone yet. We're not, they're going to be realistic, but we need to believe anything is possible. And we just need to think about what we're doing. Stay tight. Don't park the bus. When we're getting opportunities, we need to be getting on the end of the ball. And to be honest with you, if Wilson puts in that performance like he did against Spurs, he's going to have a great game. By the way, I spent the last week, a few days learning Surridge's name. So hopefully, by the way, I do apologise, but hopefully Surridge will come on and he came on against Arsenal and scored. Yes, I know it didn't really help, but he's a very, very talented young guy. So give him a chance tonight. If we're not scoring, bring him on. He could come in and nick a goal. Could you imagine if we're sat on the podcast tonight saying, oh my God, Surridge has just won us the game. And everyone would be buzzing with that. So Eddie's got a really hard decision tonight. He's got to get his team spot on. And tactically, if we play like we did against Spurs, we will do well. Being realistic, if we move further on, but I do think we need to take it one day at a time. So we concentrate in the next hour. So we'll concentrate on the Villa game. And then we need to pay attention. Obviously, everyone will be watching. At 7 o'clock tonight against Leicester. And then after the Leicester game, then we can talk about Man City, and then we can talk about Southampton, and then we can talk about the final day against Everton. I'm trying to still find out if that's going to be broadcast on TV. I'm not sure.
I think it is 4 p.m. across all the channels.
I haven't seen it on. I haven't seen it, but I'm hoping. but I'm going to go for a 3-0 win tonight. I'm going to go for Callum Wilson to get 2, and I'm going to go for Josh King to get himself on the score sheet as well.
That would be absolutely massive for the goal difference. And if that happens, we're still in the mix. And, you know, what is enjoying football without hope? And, you know what, if we do get relegated, we've had a blooming good time in the Premier League. I know that all the Saints fans who say there's not a rivalry will come on chat and, you know, give us grief, you know, unprompted. Not sure why. Maybe they think it is a rivalry. Don't know. We'll have loads of them. And also, I've got to say, you know, I think it's an exciting project if we do go down, because we're going to be tighter on money. We're not going to make stupid signings where we throw 8-figure numbers at unproven players. You know, the kickoff times will be less affected. You're back to more games under the lights. We'll have people like Adrian, you know, Durham from TalkSport, not, you know, going on about us in a negative way again. We'll actually be able to enjoy our football again. But yeah, go on. Why don't you make a closing point, Morgan? Go
on. Of course, I would love nothing more for AFC Bournemouth to stay up into the Prem. If we do go down, which is looking a little bit more, depending on tonight, I can't comment until about 8, just after
9 o'clock,
8, 9 o'clock tonight. But if we do go down, Championship football isn't a bad thing. You know, you got going down to Vitality on a Tuesday night. Maybe cheaper tickets. I doubt it, but you know, that's always a
yeah.
But I reckon we just need to just keep fighting. And, you know, if it isn't, you know, it's going to rely on some results. I'm not going to mummy cuddle that. And also, I'm going to say that tonight, I think we need to definitely think about trying to get not just a goal to win the game. We need to be thinking about our goal difference and keeping that clean sheet, because I think they're all key factors to playing tonight's game. But yeah, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win, and I'm hoping that, like everyone, Bournemouth will remain in the Prem, and I'm still going to keep to my word and thinking that we will beat City. And thank you very much for having me on.
No problem at all. So that was Morgan Scott, and if you want to appear on the podcast, then yeah, just let us know. Great stuff from him. Always outspoken, always optimistic, but that's what we like. We've got 4 games left. All we need to do is just put in some shifts and just see what happens. And if we do that, then we stand a chance. If we don't put in a shift tonight, then we're done. So let's just enjoy these last 4 games, see the possibilities that may appear in front of us. You never know. We see some weird things in football. Right. 7 o'clock. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be on just after full time at 9. So up the cherries, and we'll see you in the next video. Hopefully, it's going to be slightly more optimistic than the last day. See you later.